Let's give God the glory. Hallelujah. You want to greet each other? Say good morning. What? What do you want to talk about? Do you remember what we talked about last time? Yeah? Chapter 32. Okay, 32. What was it about? Esau is coming with 400 men. Yeah. With swords. You're dead. What else? What else do you remember? Huh? Wrestling. Now he's crippled. For how long? Forever. He's crippled forever. He's lame forever. His hip socket is out. What else? Huh? He's obeying to God despite of all the dangers and all the probability of derision that he's going. He's going. Turn to each other and say, I'm going. I'm going. I'm going, Bubba. Okay. What else? Eric, you lost? Looking for somebody? What else? Any other questions? No? You know, when you don't have a question, it's a dangerous sign that you are losing interest, aren't you? Are you losing interest? Should I lose interest on you? Huh? Or that's why I'm asking question all the time. I'm curious what's going on in your life. So you have to be curious too. I give up. Okay, let's go into chapter 33. Okay. Yes. In Luke 13. Hold on. Let's go into Luke. Where's Eric? Where's my man? He's working? Oh. So Luke 13. We got a man, yes. Give it to her, please. Who was it? Oh, Sally. Luke 13.
Luke 13, verses 18 through 19.
Verses 18 through 19. Yeah?
It just talks about he's comparing the kingdom of God to a mustard seed, and then he has this image of a tree and birds perched in its branches. I didn't understand. Oh, I couldn't put the two together.
In these two parables together? Or the mustard seed and the faith? Oh, kingdom of God.
I understood it as he's comparing the kingdom of God to a mustard seed, and I didn't understand why. Why mustard seed? I've heard people talk about faith as mustard.
You ever seen mustard seed? I have it in my room. If you want to see it, I used to have it. I don't know where it is. A long time ago, I showed you. Remember? Yeah. It's like it's like when you wake up in the morning and you corner of your eyes. There's a little. What do you call that in English? Eye booger. Okay, eye booger. Okay, that's a funky name. You take that and cut it in four. And mustard seed is big as that. Okay, and then mustard tree. How big is the mustard tree? You know mustard tree. Usually we could see it driving around. the things that with the red little fruits. Yeah, a lot of people call it a pepper tree. You remember? And it's big. Anyways, it become a big tree. Yeah. So why would Jesus compare the kingdom of God as a mustard seed and a mustard tree? Yeah. Is that your question? Why is it? Okay. Well, a faith or a religion faith in Christ usually begins very small, very small. In fact, many of you probably are the only person in your family coming to church, or you don't think that coming to church and having a faith is really not a big deal. But eventually, anything and everything that will happen in your life will be related to it. And all the stress. I don't know, are you in, do you have stress? No, you don't have stress. Yeah. Well, I don't have stress. I have a little bit of stress. Any kind of stress or pressure that you have can be relieved by this faith. That's what it means. Well, since Gia is not stressed, many people are stressed. Yeah, are you? So one psychologist did a survey, and imagine you have your own stress, right? And you look around, and everybody has stress except Gia. I mean, whether it is small or medium or large, you have your stress, right? Now, if you compare your stress to other people, okay, be it all different kind, shapes and colors of stresses that everybody else have, but their intensity or their painfulness. If you would please compare that, where would you put your stress? So you'd be from 1 to 100. So if you put 50, that's your stress is about average that people have. Or if you say 90, that means only one person have less stress than you. You have a stress that is greater than 9 people having. Do you know what I mean? But if you say 1, like Gia, my stress is virtually non-existing. Maybe I'm ranking number 10, out of 10 people. So, they did a survey, and so where would you put it? Well, if you really think about it, how the population of the stress should be, in truth. Did I explain? Okay. Do you understand the survey? So 50% should be. 50% shouldn't be the average. 50% should be above average. 50% should be below average, right? I mean, if we rank, let's say this is a school, and if we rank it, there's number 1 person, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, so 50% of the people would be above the 50%. Comprende? Yeah? 50% would be below 50. Does that make sense? So, I mean, stress is the same thing. So they did a survey, where would you put yourself? So obviously, if everybody did it correctly, then 50% should be above the 50%, 50% should be below the 50%, right? Yeah. Well, guess what they found out? Over 90% of the people chose above 50. So there's only 10%, see, like Gia. I ain't got no stress. There's only 1 person. Rest of us, a normal person, should say, I have my stress, which is bigger than yours. I don't know, I should say it in sermon, but in Korean language, we would say, my poop is bigger than yours. My stress is bigger than yours. Anyways, people think my stress is bigger. But anyways, whatever the stress you have, ultimately, eventually, that stress is going to be shadowed or rested or salved or comforted by the faith that you studied nonchalantly when you were young. That's what it means. Sally, does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yeah? Because it starts as a small, but it becomes a big tree so that many of the animals can rest under it. In other words, many of the animals or birds or animals would be your stress or things in your life. Okay, that can be rested. But that faith started very small. Okay, next. Okay. Okay, Azalea first. Okay. A little bit of variety would be helpful.
In Ecclesiastes,
Is this? Okay.
chapter 3, verse 21.
Is this what you mean? Okay, Ecclesiastes, chapter what?
Chapter 3,
Chapter 3.
verse 21.
Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 21. You read it?
Who knows if the human spirit rises upward and if the spirit of the animal goes down into the earth? So, my question was, this is before Jesus. This is written by Solomon. Before Jesus, did they believe that they were going to go to heaven after they die? Or it's kind of like they doubt? I don't know.
I don't get it. What?
Because it seems like
That's how you feel when I explain? It's like, I don't get.
because before Jesus,
Before Jesus, this is Old Testament, yeah?
did they believe that they're going to go to heaven after they die?
Well, that's a good question. No.
So what did they believe after they, like, what would happen to them after they die? Like,
Well, they all thought that they would not completely destroyed or disappear. What does the Old Testament say when you die? Usually in the Bible, what does it say? Not you don't need to be theological. What do they usually say when a person dies? They sleep, okay? He fell asleep, and then there's one more. Huh? Oh, gathered into his fathers. Is this the first time you heard it? No, right? So they do that. So even though they did not think about the heaven and hell, they knew that somehow the remnants or something in their life would continue to be somewhere with their fathers. Does that make sense? Okay, so on this verse, who knows if the human spirit rises upward and if the spirit of the animal goes down into the earth? What does that mean? I thought that was your question. It means that a spirit roam around the earth. 그럼 귀신데. It's like a ghost. What is that movie? Ghost. No. They did not think that the spirit of a person will roam around the earth. That'd be scary, right? Now that would be and that would be scary. No. But however, what we can deduce from this is that even in the Old Testament, they did not, mark this word, they did not believe that animals have spirit. Therefore, animals will die. When they die, they disappear. They disappear. They never thought that animals will live on. Therefore, if we bring that to a New Testament, you cannot take your dog to heaven. Okay? You cannot take your gerbil? Gerbil? Is it a gerbil? Gerbil? Gerbil. Okay? You cannot take your gerbil to your heaven. Okay? Okay. That answer your question? Yeah. 2 verses before that. Is that a trick question? Entrapment. It's called entrapment.
This surely the fate of human being is like that of the animals. The same fate awaits them both. As one dies, so does the other.
Animal dies and human beings dies. Yeah.
And all have the same breath. Humans have no advantage over animals. Everything is meaningless. All go to the same place. All comes from dust and go to dust.
Dust to dust. Yeah. You tried to trap me, huh? What is Solomon saying here? Huh? The flesh. Good. See, when you look at the animal and human beings, flesh-wise, they are all the same. They are all the same. And if you really dwell on flesh, it's really depressing. I mean, how old are you now? 31. Huh? 31. Oh, dang it. 31. Oh, can you do that? Do that with your hand like this. Oh my goodness, that looked like a drum. You know what mine look like? Mine feels like socks. Now, those of you who are younger, wait around. You will be like that. One day, it'll be very difficult to walk. Very difficult to walk. That's what he's saying. Basically, if we are all human beings, if we all human beings are like animals, which people usually thought that back then. But Solomon is saying, no, it's meaningless if you dwell on that. If you dwell on that, it's meaningless. Imagine if there is no life after death. What should we do now? Enjoy the fullest. What do you mean enjoy? I do all kinds of stuff. All my ability, my money my power allow me, I will do anything and everything. But then that in and of itself is also meaningless as poop. So ultimately, what should I do? Kill myself. That's the ultimate end of all philosophers who believe in nothingness. What do you call that philosopher? Huh? Existentialist? That philosopher. Huh? Have you ever heard Nietzsche or Nietzsche or Nietzsche or Nietzsche? Okay, do you know who I'm talking about? Yeah, he says God is dead. Well, Nietzsche is dead. God lives. Anyways, okay, does that answer your question? Okay, good. Next, Sally. Okay.
Can you clarify what is prophesying? What does it mean when people prophesy? I think I hear a lot of different. Well, when they use.
What is prophecy? Is that? Are you asking me the definition of prophecy, or are you asking me what does it look like when people prophesy?
I guess both. What is prophecy and what is prophecy?
Okay, so definition of prophecy. Definition of prophecy is not what is going to happen. Okay, that you can take it in the fortune cookie. That's what happened. Prophesying is the intention of God. So when imagine, let's say you are a father, and you have 2 children, okay, and a younger child is destroying the living room. And he just and then older child goes, Dad, Dad, what's his name? Not Loki. Audrey is breaking your Nintendo, and then the dad goes to Luke, say, tell Audrey that I'm coming down. I'm coming down and whoop you. Okay? So Luke comes down and say, Audrey, Dad is coming down to whoop you. That's called prophecy. It's not what's going to happen, really. It's the intention of your father, So basically, father is borrowing the mouthpiece of the person who's speaking for him, which is called prophet, right? So the job of the prophet is to be the mouthpiece of a person. I mean, not mouthpiece of God. So he just speaks. It's not, tomorrow, therefore, the stock price of whatever Microsoft would be $2.50. It's not that. Okay, go out and sell it. It's not that. It's the mouth. I mean, sometimes he does that, but it's the intention of God. That's what it. That's why usually prophecy is spoken when they say, "Thus says the Lord." It means it's not what's going to happen, but it is the intention of or heart of God that He's speaking. Does that make sense? Okay. Anything else? Best way to learn anything is to really ask questions. The more you ask questions, the more you learn. Okay, that's the trick. Because I am. When I went to seminary school, I was well known in my school for one thing. You know what was that? Ask questions. I just bothered heck out of the professor, not professors, professors, and they were sick of me. And I'm thinking, man, I paid you good money, and I'm gonna suck your brains out, And so I wanted to know what you know. I mean, that's what you should do all the time. Just keep asking questions. Okay? Anyways, are we done? Yes. The one who does not have stress.
Why do you think? Sorry. Why do you think God made Eve out of Adam's rib, Pastor?
Instead of what? Do you have any other choice?
Maybe just make Eve from like a dust, just like Adam.
Well, I think if God made Eve out of dust, I don't think Adam would love her as much. Does that make sense? Adam might go, "Oh, it's dirty." Yeah, maybe you're not a man and you don't understand. Let me tell you a secret between men. Men, we have certain characteristics. One, we are very, very afraid of doctors. That's why we never go to doctors. Yeah. Number two, this is even bigger secret. We love our body parts. Do you think, let me ask you this, as a teenager, do you think boys will spend more time in front of the mirror or girls will spend more time in front of mirror? What do you think? Boys or girls? 100% boys. You don't know what boys do. I mean, they do all day long, You don't believe me. I mean, people think that boys will spend less time in the bathroom, but they spend long time. We love our body parts. Can you imagine girls doing They don't do that. They don't do that. Well, if Eve was made out of dust, Adam may not be attached to her. That's why when he saw her, guess what he claimed? This is my wife. Did he say that? Well, there's only one female. This is my bone of bones, flesh of flesh, which means this is mine. Or so, do you think boys have 13 ribs one side and 12 ribs on the other side? God took one out. What do you think? Somebody really actually asked me, Pastor, so a man have 11 ribs. There are 12 ribs, by the way. Yeah, 12 ribs. T1, T2, T3, this until T12. Cervical spine. Do you know how many cervical spines? Where's the bio major? C spine. How many C spines? Huh? Seven. Okay, 7. Okay, T spine. 12. L spine. 5. Good. Huh? How many total? Who cares? Okay. So somebody asked me, so does man have 11 ribs on one side and 12 ribs on the other? What do you think? Check it out. Gia, check him out. Make sure he got 12. Well, he's very, sometimes people are very silly, or I should say, stupid. Okay? Because God made Adam 13 one side and 12 on the other side. So he took one out. Now we have 12. How about that? Any other? Okay, give her the. Okay, somebody teaches Elia. What is this? What is this?
Ecclesiastes.
Huh? Okay, let me see. Andrew, stand up and speak loud.
Ecclesiastes.
Do you concur with his pronunciation? Okay, good. One more time. Say it.
Ecclesiastes.
Eccles nasty. Yeah. Okay. What is the point of this book? Ecclesiastes. I think I like that better. What would be the point of writing this book? This is rather important. It is important. Huh? Because see, you and I pay attention to certain things in our lives, right? You pay attention to certain things, right? And most of the things that you pay attention to are stupid things. That's what he's saying. What you pay attention to is stupid. It's meaningless. Well, when you are teenagers, what would be the most important thing in your life? Popularity, yes, popularity, popularity. And you ask that to run, what does it mean to you, the popularity? What does popularity mean to you? Nothing. Man, we didn't talk to each other before. It's nothing. But when you are a teenager, it's everything. Now, when you're a teenager and you get a boyfriend, you get, what do you call that? You get dumped. I mean, your life is over. Now, what do you think about that? See, that's what the Ecclesiastes are saying. That what you pay attention to is nothing. Let me tell you what is really important. What is it? Getting up in the morning, alive. Yes. What is the point of Ecclesiastes? That everything is meaningless. Meaningless is really a biblical term. It's a gentle term. Basically, it is basically saying everything is stupid except one. What is it? Come on. Give you 50 so far, 50 points. I'm looking for 95 to 98. It's one answer. Huh? Huh? No. Huh? I heard something. Huh? A booze? Food? Not a single person in this church knows the final point of book of Ecclesiastes. Everything is stupid. What you pay attention to, what you work for today, what you are stressed about is stupid. Turn to each other and say, you are stupid. So if you don't want to be stupid, what? Be wise? Fear of the Lord. Don't you remember? Somebody said it? Tom already said it? Oh, see? I should have asked Tom. At least one person in this room. Fear of the Lord. See, when you're young and when you're busy, when you're doing things, fear of the Lord seems stupid. You know, what do I need to do this? What do I do this? You know, my popularity is on the line. My job is on the line. My school is on the line. My whatever is on the line. You know, God seems very mundane. But when time passes and when you really become mature, everything else is just stupid. Nothing. Except what? How you feel, or how you feel when the word Jesus is uttered. What's going on in your heart? That matters. The fear of the Lord that churns in your heart, that matters ultimately at the end of the day. That's what Ecclesiastes is saying. Solomon is saying everything is because he's well capable or well qualified to say that. Why? Because he's the smartest, whitest, wisest, richest, most good-lookingest. He had everything. And then he said at the end, I had everything, but all these are stupid or meaningless. But ultimately, at the end of the Ecclesiastes, he's saying, ultimately, what is the wisdom? Fear of the Lord. Amen. Amen. Let's get into chapter 33. So Jacob looked up and there was Esau. You know, sometimes Bible is really dramatic. I mean, you know, Jacob looked up and there's Esau looking right down. You know, that's what he's saying. Huh? Jacob looked up and there was Esau. And Jacob peed in his pants. Coming with his 400 men, so he Jacob divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and 2 female servants. The name of these 2 servants are Bilhah and Ucha. Okay. He put the female servants and their children in front. Why? Huh? Okay, so why did he do that? In case brother Esau become violent with his sword, guess who should be the first one to be cut? These children. So imagine if you were these children. How would you feel? Thanks, Dad. Leah and her children next, and Rachel and Joseph in the rear. Have you ever had a brother like that or sister like that your parents always loved, that you secretly kicked and pinched? He himself went on ahead, at least he went on ahead of all the children, and bowed down to the ground 7 times as he approached his brother. But Esau ran to meet Jacob. Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him. He threw his arms around his neck and kissed him, and they wept. Then Esau looked up and saw the women and children. "Who are these with you?" he asked. Jacob answered, "They are the children God had graciously given your servant." Whose servant? Whose servant? Esau's servant. Now, what do you call that? A kiss up, huh? Kiss up. This is a very these languages are very, very comforting. Yeah. Then the female servants and their children approached and bowed down. Next, Leah and her children came and bowed down. Yes? Somebody said something? Ask question. Next, Leah and children came and bowed down. Last of all came Joseph and Rachel, and they too bowed down. Esau asked, "What's the meaning of all these flocks and herds I met? To find favor in your eyes, my Lord." Now this is my. So first one was your servant. Now you are my. So imagine if your younger brother calls you my Lord. Wouldn't that be nice? Anybody with younger brother in this room? Younger brother? Yeah, younger. Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice if your brother calls you my Lord, I'm your servant? Why is he doing that? Well, but Esau said, "I already have plenty, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself. I don't need it," basically. "No, please," said Jacob, "if I have found favor in your eyes, accept this gift from me, for to see your face is like seeing the face of God. Now that you have received me favorably." Oh my goodness. Now, so imagine if your younger brother comes to you and say, "Brother, to see your face is like seeing God's face." I think I'd buy him a dinner. "Please accept the present and that was brought to you, for God has been gracious to me, and I have all I need." And because Jacob insisted, Esau accepted it. "Okay, I'll keep it." Then Esau said, "Let us be on our way. I will accompany you." But Jacob said to him, "My Lord knows that the children are tender, and that I must care for these ewes and cows that are nursing their young. If they are driven hard, just one day, all the animals will die." True or false? Huh? Most likely true. I mean, we don't have ewes and cows, and but if you really run them, they'll die. But remember, he drove about 600 miles with these ewes, and so it's been a while. "So let my Lord go on ahead of his servant, while I move along slowly at the pace of my flocks and herds before me, and the pace of the children, until I come to my Lord in Seir." Esau said, "Then let me leave some of my men with you." "But why do that?" Jacob asked. Just let me find favor in the eyes of my Lord. So that day Esau started on his way back to Seir. Jacob, however, went to Sukkot. Sukkot is basically a tent, but they called it a name of a town, where he built a place for himself and made shelters for his livestock. That is why the place is called Sukkot. Now, what do you feel up until now? Huh? Jacob was scared. Jacob was scared to death, right? I mean, he was prepared to death. Forget all those, the wrestling and but he knew for the chance, he has a very good chance that he'll be killed. But, he's saved, right? And then what do you feel? He's relieved. What else do you feel? I guess I didn't read English, read the Bible correctly. You don't get any other feeling? Oh, you don't want, don't you feel like that Jacob is trying to, that's a very daring move, Because if you think about it, just a moment ago, you were going to be killed. And, seeing your face, taking me favorably is like seeing the face of God. He probably meant it. And then as soon as Esau is, it's okay, I'm not going to kill you. And then, do you get the feeling Jacob is, okay, then get out of my face. Do you feel that? I do. Huh? Why? Is it a normal reaction you would imagine? I mean, have you ever been on like a situation like this? You did something really wrong to your boss, let's say, okay? And you are sure that you are going to be fired next day. So you went to work, okay? Imagining that your boss is, he's cut you down. And then he said, come into my room, okay? And say, sit down. So, okay. Would you like a coffee? Huh? Yes, please. So he drank it and he said, well, I'm not going to punish you. I think you're okay. You did really good. Oh, really? Oh, thank you. And then what do? You tell the boss, okay, now get out of my face. Would you do that? You wouldn't do that, right? Fully knowing that you are on the line, you're just about to get cut. But you don't want to be doing that. But why is he doing that? There is a reason. Huh? Yeah, he came back. Yeah. So, like in Bethel, he saw the angels coming down, up and down, and he made a promise, or he made a vow to God that, if you take my journey safely, go back and come back, whatever, But why is he doing that? There is a hint. The hint is in Seir, the place called Seir. Seir is in the east of Jordan. Who cares? East of Jordan. Huh? It's not Canaan. Remember, God said to Abraham, I want you to go to a place that I appointed, right? What is that place? Canaan, right? But unfortunately, this is here, right there, here. Okay, this region is here. See, there's Sukkot right here. There, he's coming down here. Okay, and then this is Peniel, and they are separating. He's going Seir. Jacob knew that Esau lives in Seir. He did not want to go there. Why? Huh? Because he wanted to go to the place that God had appointed. Obviously, his brother had had forgot. His brother has either forgot or abandoned the command. Do you know what I mean? Why? Because Esau had never had any intention to follow the command of God. Jacob, there's only one reason why he's coming down, taking all these thousands and thousands of sheep, probably taking more than a year coming down. Why? Because God told him to go to the place. Did you get that? Yeah? Do you know what faithful person and unfaithful person, there's a difference. Do you know what's the difference? Esau has his own thinking. He has his own idea. Have no intention to follow the command. Jacob, he's smart. He knows a lot. But he put away everything else and follow the command. Follow the command. Both people, these two people can think. They are wise. They are not dumb, But Esau had his own idea. Jacob probably had his own idea too. That's the difference. That's the foundational difference between these two people. So Jacob is saying, without saying it with words, Jacob is saying, you go on your way. I'm going to follow God. Can you repeat after me? I'm going to follow God. See, that's the difference. Life is really complicated. Life is really complicated. I mean, I've been a doctor for a long time. There are two kinds of patients. A good kind and bad kind. You know what? You know who's the bad kind? They don't listen. I don't know why they come to me. You have no intention to listen to me, and then you go, doctor, I hurt here. So why don't you take this medicine? It'll be better. And then 2 weeks later, come back, doctor, you still hurt here. Then I say, did you take the medicine I gave you? No, I didn't take it. Why didn't you take it? I didn't think it was going to work. I'm saying, it just blows my mind, Okay, so take the medicine. By the way, pay $300 on the way out. Do you know that makes sense? But see, you and I make same mistake every single day. Because we think, I know. Oh, you don't know Jack. Oh, I don't know Jack. See, we are weak. Do you remember? We are weak. We're weak. We don't know. But see, it's a characteristics of unfortunate people, I want to say. He just went. So Jacob is saying, you go on your way, I'm coming my way. Okay? After Jacob came from Padan Aram. Where is Padan Aram, by the way? Padan Aram, Lot lived? Yeah, I guess. Where is it? Up north, very far. Very far. That's where the Leah and Rachel was born. Yeah? He arrived safely at the city of Shechem. Now, Shechem is located in the, you see it? Shechem, right there, green letter. Inside of the promised land. He arrived at Shechem. After Jacob came from Padan Aram, he arrived safely at the city of Shechem in Canaan and camped within the side of the city. For 100 pieces of silver he bought from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem. Evidently, the king or the chief of that town's name was Shechem. So that city was called Shechem from then on. So looking back, that's the Shechem, the city of Shechem. Okay, so he bought a little piece of land with 100 pieces of silver from the son of Shechem, Hamor, the plot of ground where he pitched his tent. There he set up an altar and called it El Elohe Israel. El, do you know what El means? El, God. God, comma. It should be really, there should be a comma, but it's not in the Bible. So I wouldn't dare put El, who is? Elohe Israel. Elohe means of God, Israel. So God of Israel. Okay, so he made a tent and said, this is the place, El Elohe Israel. That's what he said. Now I have a few questions after reading this. I want to ask you this. Turn to each other and ask this question. Do you have worries? Do you have worries? Ask me. Mucho, a lot. Mucho, a lot. I have a lot of worries. Now, did Jacob had worries? Now, I want to ask you this question. If I ask you, what was the biggest worry that Jacob ever had in his life? Huh? Seeing Esau, right? Facing it, confronting Esau, because he was sure that he was going to get, not only he's going to get killed, everything else that he's with, he's going to get killed. He was almost certain that he's going to get killed, right? Did he get killed? No. What? The second biggest worry that Jacob had. Huh? Leah's father. What's his name? Huh? Laban. He's sure that Laban was going to come after him, so he ran away. Okay? What did Laban do when he came up to him? He shook hands and made a big feast and ate together and had a party and then took off, right? What else? The third biggest concern or worries that he had. Huh? Running away from Esau to a Padan Aram, which is a foreign country. He was scared to death. Why? Because he was basically broke, right? Well, guess what? Was the journey safe? Not only safe, he became rich with money. And then he had 4 women. I don't know if that was rich part or not. Maybe not a good thing. Okay. Other than having 4 women to deal with, he had everything else was so common theme of what I just told you. He worried a lot of things. Not a single thing came to be true as he worried about, right? Did you know that also a psychiatrist these are saying that whatever that you and I worry every single day, how many percentage would come true? Huh? Do you know? 90% of what we worry will never come to be true. Only about 10% will happen as we worried, but vast majority of times, 90% of the times, whatever that we worried ain't gonna happen. But we worry for nothing. That's what, all the things that he really worried didn't happen at all. Are you cold? Since Azelia asked the question, I asked him. So all the time when he worried, it didn't happen. Now, you and I know something about Bible, right? This is only chapter 33. We have almost 20 chapters to go. right? From this on, it is the story of Jacob, basically, right? Now, if you were Jacob at this point, at the end of chapter 33, how would you feel? Huh? You'd feel great. Everything is honky-dory. Is that a right word, honky-dory? Huh? Everything, is that a proper English? Is that a proper English? Okay, thank you. I mean, everything is honky-dory. I'm confident now. He probably saying, everything is honky-dory. But we know a little bit about Bible. Guess what? From now on, from chapter 34, his time of agony will begin. That all the time, he had never worried. Things will come up and it'll haunt him. First, some of his children will kill bunch of people in Shechem. Bunch of people. I mean, not one or. Imagine one day you came home and you found out that police told you your son kills people. How would you feel? How would you feel? I mean, I think I'd be just devastated. But not only one person, they just went in there and just killed a whole bunch of people. You know, you go, huh, what? I mean, that was the beginning of agony. And then he had one daughter. What's her name? Dina. She fell in love with him and he killed him. How you have to live with your daughter that your son killed the daughter's lover. Oh my goodness, how would you feel? That'd be terrible. And then eventually, not only that, eventually your love of your life dies on the street. Who's that? Rachel. I mean, you know, and then Benjamin come up, and then the biggest of all, Joseph is killed by animal. Now imagine when you came home one day and somebody said, well, your son just, dog ate it. What? I mean, not the first 10 children. That 11th child that I cherish the most is killed by animal. How would you feel if your son is killed by car or something? I have never experienced those things. Imagine if you hear that. Wouldn't that devastate your life? Did Joseph know that? Jacob know that? He didn't know that. He just, bam, hit you. After he thought, remember all this time, he's lame. He's lame, he's an old man and just things one after the other start hitting. The worst one is yet to come. When Joseph goes down to Egypt and then the brothers go down eventually, and then the Joseph, pretending to be a Pharaoh, say, I want your younger brother. So they go home and say, Dad, the guy in Egypt, he wants Benjamin. Now imagine if you are Jacob, when you hear your sons say, the guy wants Benjamin, how would you feel? In fact, he says, if you're going to take him, I want you to bury me first. Man, life was hard. Life is hard. In fact, that's what I've been trying to tell you. You and I suffer from lots of worries. But most of the time, what you and I worry ain't going to happen. Only about 10% will happen. But the real thing that will beat the daylights out of you will be the one that you have never expected. Never expected. I'm fairly health freak. I eat cereal for every morning for 30 years. I dare you can do that. Same cereal. Same brand too. Honey, even the congregation members know. I exercise 3 times a week. I take vitamins. Why? Because I wanted to be healthy. But last year, some dumb doctor told me, you got tumor in your thyroid. You know how I felt? I have never ever expected something that I had somebody cut my throat last year. That's 1 year anniversary coming. See, life will hit you like crazy. I mean, about a week ago, one of our KM member had a MRI of the lumbar spine. How many lumbar spines are there? Five. Because she had a backache, and then, on the side note, the radiologist said, by the way, this patient have a tumor size of a fist next to a kidney. And then she in the CT scan, most likely malignant. You know what malignant is? Basically a fancy word for cancer. So she's going to have a surgery. I mean, I had a lunch with her today, and she's scared to death. And I said, I know. You'd never expect. You see, the life that you and I live is very fragile. Very fragile. You rely on this, rely on that. Rely on your parents. To be around forever. I mean, things happen. Just bam, and they hit you, and you're done. You're done. It's really funny, because when I read this, because I know the whole story, you all know the whole story too, and I think, God has brought this Jacob down, right? Yeah, and Jacob, you probably know by now, I like Jacob a lot. Lots of people think that Jacob is a cheating, whatever cheater, whatever conniving person. I have never thought that. I completely, utterly disagree. I'm in strong favor with Jacob, because he's really the man after God's heart. I mean, I can see, he's going down, and I mean, all his behaviors is pointing that way. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, he's doing that, and from now the pain will begin, or the beating will begin. And he just beat the really living daylights out of Jacob. My question is, why? Well, what did God promise Jacob? God promised Jacob his blessing. I'm going to make you a great nation. Yeah? He did not say, I'm going to make you a millionaire. He didn't say that. I'm going to make you a great nation. What nation? Great nation. Not just a little, puny whatever. No, I'm going to make you a great nation. And then the beating began. Why? Because if he did not have the beating, he will not become great nation. Do you remember, many times in the New Testament even, when the hard time hits, be joyful. Do you remember? Kind of reading that? Yeah? It's in book of James chapter 1, verse 1 and 2. It says, when the beating begins, basically rejoice. Why? Because tribulation will give you endurance. Endurance will give you character, blah, blah, all that. See, it's very strange. You and I have this natural character, natural instinct to avoid punishment. Yeah? When the stressful things come, we want to get rid of it. I mean, that's why people come to church and pray. When I people come, I mean, I have never seen people come to church, 10 o'clock in the morning, and thank you for giving me $1 million. Thank you. I never heard that kind of prayer. You know what I hear? 10 o'clock in the morning. I mean, what happened to her? Oh, I mean, when we come to, only time when we pray is when the pain hits. Why? Because we are asking God to take it away, remove it. If you really think about it, that's kind of not very wise move. Not very wise move. I mean, in order to be strong, you want to face the trial. Amen? Think about it. You want to face the trial. Imagine if you're a student, your natural flesh instinct is, I don't want to study. Oh, I don't want to study. That's what people do. So, guess what? Instead of facing the library, they run away. Do that. You missed that, Julian. And then people become people who face the difficulties. I recently read a book called Can't Hurt Me. I don't know if you ever seen a book called Can't Hurt Me. I want to really recommend this. This is really foul language book. So you will love it. A seal, a very famous seal. I mean, when I was reading it at the beginning, I was going, "Oh my goodness!" It's like OMG time, His father is. I mean, I know a few bad fathers, but oh my goodness, this is really bad father. I mean, bad husband, bad father, And then we go, "Oh my goodness!" And then. This is basically a story about a person basically saying that, you don't avoid hard times. You face it, and you beat you face it and you win over it. And the more you win over your trial, you will become stronger. But see, natural tendency of people is, oh, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. That's why we stay weak. I mean, basically, that's a biblical teaching. He says, when the tribulation comes, be joyful. Why? Because if I win this one, I get stronger. But instead of, when trial comes, it's like, push that cup away. No. See, God really wanted to bless Jacob. And God really had in his mind that I'm going to take this one. This is mine. I'm going to really bless him and really make him great nation. But unfortunately, in order for him to become a great nation, he has to, repeat after me, deserve it. Remember the situation that you and I in? I mean, it is the worst thing a person can possibly do is to have a pity party. Oh, because of my family, because I was born poor, because I'm stupid. See, if you dwell on that, you will never become, never come out of that. Your life is already given. Yeah? It is really not very good to complain about it. I mean, even if you complain until cows come home, nothing's going to change. I mean, just because, my family is just broken. Or you can do that until your arms fall off. Is your family going to change? Nothing. No situation that you are in will change unless and until you do something about it. Amen? Does that make sense? Huh? So Jacob, from now on, just goes on trial after trial after trial. And I don't know, at the end of the book, at the end of the Genesis, Jacob is standing in front of Pharaoh. And Pharaoh looking at him and go, wow. And he asks him, how old are you? Pharaoh asks Jacob, how old are you? You look old, man. That's what he's saying, how old are you? And Jacob says, I had many, many hard days. That's what he said. That's not a bad thing to say. You know, life that is hard is life worth living. Amen? Life that is not hard is not worth living. I mean, our natural flesh tendency is just to be on a cruise ship, just, feed me. But that's meaningless. That's meaningless. See, you and I have something very, very special. That you and I, if we have Spirit in us, Holy Spirit in us, if I have the name of Jesus in me, guess what? My ultimate, the worst of the worst, okay? Worst of the worst. I mean, worst possible worst of the worst is that I go to heaven. I mean, you can beat me, you can pull my hair out, you can skin me, you can take my eyeballs out. I'm going to go to heaven. Amen? Not only that, while I'm living, God is with me. Amen? Where? Inside of me. Inside of me. I mean, once you really realize that, then really you can live. Amen? Don't ever complain about current situation. You can determine, life is hard. I agree with that. Trial is come. My son has been eaten by animal. Yeah, but you see, you shouldn't. My son. You shouldn't do that. That's already given. Then you should say, well, I'm gonna get out of it. What can I do? What can I go through? What can I do and improve my life? That's the spirit. Amen? Why? Because God had promised me that my life is going to be better. Does that make sense? Huh? My life on this earth, no matter what happens it's going to be better. I mean, things will happen in your life, in my life. Again, remember, the things that you and I worry, it's not going to happen. Chances are. You can bet on it. Don't bet. Christians don't bet. But, I mean, chances are never going to happen. But the real bad thing is the things that happen that you never, ever expected. And those are coming too. But when that came, you say, I can go over it. Or I can go through it. Amen? Don't run away from it. Why? Because I have the Spirit. I have the power of God in me. And I can go through it. Okay? Don't say, oh God, why did you allow this to me? No, I mean, you can complain all that. Not that it's not helping. That's not going to change your life. You say, I'm going to go through it. I'm going to follow the order. I'm going to follow the command. Amen? Yeah? The people who really fail in their lives or in their lives' endeavor is the people who don't follow. Really, when your group leader said something, you do that. You do that. Okay? You do that. See, when Jacob heard, I want you to go down to the land of Canaan, Jacob said, no matter what happens, even if I get separated from my brother, I'm going there. Amen? I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going there. That's his determination. That's the character of successful person. I want to do this. I don't care what you say. I want to do this. Unfortunately, if you are very, very smart, Einstein-like, then maybe. But fortunately, none of us ain't no Einstein. So what we do, we follow the instructions. And he says, I have you, you have me. Well, let's go. And then we go. Amen? Follow carefully, follow fully. Fully knowing the Spirit of God is in you. Amen? Worst ever can happen is heaven. That's not too bad. Yeah? And not only that, God said, I will guide you. I will take care of you. Let's pray. Lord, thank you so much for allowing us to be here tonight. I guess every single one of us have worries and things happening around us. Sometimes it is very difficult and painful and unbearable. Yes, sometimes it can be unbearable. One thing for sure, instead of fleeing from it, instead of running away from it, may we truly face the difficulties and go through it. Please give us courage and wisdom. And Lord, every single one of us in this room truly desire blessing from you. And may we get ourselves ready to go through the hardships. And Lord, I thank you for choosing all of us. Not only choosing us, but you dwell inside of us, guaranteeing that we will all be in heaven one day. Not only in heaven, but as we are on this earth, that you will be with us. What a comfort, Lord. And I want to ask you, truly, anoint every single person in this room with courage and wisdom, and most of all, faith in you, that we can go out and win this war, that your name be glorified. Thank you so much, Lord. Pray all this in the name of Jesus. Amen. Let's give God the glory. Turn to each other and say,